we're going to get this thing started off talking about the new CBA that was just passed for the NFL. This is going to take place and this is going to take effect in 2020, and this is going to run through 2030. So this is big time. There's a lot of new things, a lot of changes that this thing is bringing onto the league. Some of that includes that starting in 2021, technically, as it's not official yet, the owners can still decide or not, but it's highly, highly, highly likely that this will pass. But there's going to be a 17-game season starting in 2021 that will include 2 bye weeks. Then we're going to expand playoffs to 14 teams, and this is going to be, you're going to have the top seed of each conference is going to have the bye per usual, but then there will be 3 playoff games on what is still wild card weekend. There will be 3 wild card teams. Big changes in that. There's a lot of new teams that can make that. A lot of teams that might not have the best records that can make that. I'm not sure if I'm sold on this one, Blake. I didn't like that they were changing the playoff system because I thought the NFL had they had the best playoff system out of all professional sports. And I don't like that they're adding another team per conference. What do you think?
I think personally, I'm not against it. I think it adds just another level of excitement, and it's going to add 2 more teams that some fans can get excited for. I think it's a move that's definitely got the fans in mind. Mm-hmm. They're trying to just make it more interesting and just include more teams, which, more competition. They're hoping gets better, results in the playoffs. And everyone likes that. I feel like everyone likes that story with that underdog, 7-9 going into the playoffs, and everyone's going to write them off. They're going to be playing against the number 2 seed, and everyone doesn't think they have a chance. And who knows? At any given Sunday, right? So yeah, I think it still has it brings a little interest in still. It may not make sense to the players that and the philosophies that are in place where they really stress the importance of winning your division and taking every game as serious as possible. Like it kind of each game
negates it a little bit.
Right. Each game kind of like I wouldn't say loses weight, but it's dispersed out through another game.
Especially
right?
Adding another team and adding another game to the season. So it does make every game a little less important, seemingly.
Exactly. So I can see both sides here, but really, I think it's just a benefit. I mean, 17 games, you get 1 extra game to watch. That's actually going to mean something. It's going to go on their, permanent record for that season. The season's going to start sooner, I would think.
It's they're going to take away 1 less exhibition game. So there's only going to be 3 weeks of exhibition.
Exactly. So the regular season will start sooner, right? About a week sooner.
So I guess that's a good thing cooler. For fans.
For the fans, I haven't seen 1L yet for the fans. I'm not a player, so I don't have their perspective, and I definitely don't want to speak for those dudes. But I could definitely see their perspective as
a fan. You like it as a fan.
As a pure fan perspective, I'm a fan of it, and that's all.
I guess at the end of the day, what this issue it adds another team, which does, and especially adding another game. The reason they might be adding this is at the bottom line, it's probably about money, and this will increase league revenue and. Every owner is going to be in favor of that. Maybe not the players, but at least with this, this is going to give them a higher pay of it because as another change is this, players will get a higher percentage of league profit, and so this will increase league profit. So players still get more money off of this. So it really is a win-win for both sides. And then if we're trying to rank it off of that. And then I think the biggest win, at least for some players, maybe more specifically Josh Gordon, but there will be an elimination of suspensions for positive marijuana tests.
And it doesn't say opiates, though.
No. At least
so Josh Gordon can't be too happy.
Oh, yeah, he's still the opiates. Yeah, I forgot that dude was totally
he had PEDs, weed, opiates. He's done it all. He's done.
Yeah, no, he's gone. But at least a lot of NFL players, we can't say the same for that one Browns defensive tackle that got caught with 100 pounds of weed at the Canadian border.
Yeah, man, who was that? I totally cannot remember. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Stupid. Yeah, that's not going to bode well for him. This isn't going to do much. But I'm kind of okay with this because weed, it's kind of a silly thing to get
Wasn't it
suspended
Greg
over.
Robinson? I want to say. Shoot, it was like a
The,
lineman.
yeah, it was a Browns defensive tackle, I believe.
I thought it was an
Um,
offensive tackle.
was it offense? Was it offensive tackle? Oh yeah, it was. You were right. It was Greg Robinson,
Okay, I was gonna
lineman.
say because I remember
Yeah,
that story.
damn Blake. Yeah, you got me right. Greg Robinson, offensive tackle, and he was busted for 157 pounds of the good Kush.
Oh yeah, that makes up for my horrible take yesterday.
Well, yeah,
My Tom
maybe
Brady
maybe a
take.
little bit, maybe a little bit. You can repent here at the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yes, we will. But I think this is a fine thing. A suspension for marijuana is kind of lame because it's not like it's performance enhancing. And although I don't use it myself, I am for the use of like CBD oils for like pain relief and stuff like that because it's a lot better alternative than prescription painkillers and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah,
And I'm sure
I
Blake,
totally.
you are a definitely proponent of this. You're Californian.
Yeah, I mean, I think this has been a long time coming. It's good to see that they're finally getting something right in terms of like how they deal with marijuana and all that kind of stuff. It'll be nice to see them kind of initiate more. I guess. Um, I guess just an more of an open mind towards it because I think
Mhm.
they're starting to realize like there is no performance benefit to this. The only thing that it can really benefit is just the recovery side. And
Recovery, and if anything, it might be a hindrance for some athletes if they abuse it too.
exactly, if anything, it just adds an extra level of difficulty, right? You got to be able to
Hmm.
manage. It's if alcohol is available to players, then why can't weed be available? It's
Right.
legal in
You
every
know,
state
I,
almost.
I'd rather a player like smoke weed than pull Lawrence Taylor and do shots of Hennessy or do lines of coke before a football game.
Right. And I mean everyone has their everyone has their vices, right? But
Oh, Lawrence
I
Taylor definitely had some vices. That's
I think I
that's if
think
you
I
want to put
think
it
weed
like
is
that.
really like the least of the NFL's problems. There's really
Yeah.
as long as I don't think they're ever going to get behind the whole like CBD thing and having people advertise for that kind of stuff because you just there's too many kids that watch this. But it's nice to see them not punishing players for just doing what most grown like I wouldn't say most grown adults, but
A good
a, a
majority, a
majority of
good
the
chunk of the
population,
population, you know, a
yeah, like
lot
a
of people are
percentage
doing
of the
that.
population, let's say,
Yeah.
enjoys that, just
Um,
like a percentage of the population drinks and so on and so forth.
See, I agree with you on that because on the fact that they're not good. I don't think the NFL is ever going to be direct proponents of like marijuana use and CBD use, but now they're just not going to be against it. And I think
Right.
that's a fine stance to take. And I think that's going to be positive. A part of this too is if they're eliminating suspensions for weed, but they are increasing the amount of suspensions for DUIs. And I think that's a good move. That's a healthy move because obviously we should be doing our best to kind of promote against driving under the influence because that is a awful crime. Whereas weed, if you're just smoking, getting high by yourself, or using CBD as recovery, that's not a big deal. You shouldn't get suspended for that. So this deal also is a big benefit for players that make lower are in the lower end of the salary scale. We saw before this was passed, leading in the weeks with the voting, a lot of big name players were strong proponents against this. Yeah, guys like J.J. Watt, guys like Richard Sherman, really speaking out against this new CBA. But it did pass, and it passed probably because it was this majority of those lower end salary guys, because this is going to increase the minimum salary. They're going to have a salary bonus if you're on the roster for the 17th game. And with that, there is also expanded rosters. We're going to increase the active game day roster from 46 to 48, and we're going to increase the active roster from 53 to 55. So those few things is really helping. It's aiding the younger guys, the guys not as tenured, and the guys not making as much money because you're giving people more opportunities to make a roster and more opportunities to make even more money. And I think that's why this thing was ultimately passed because of how close that the voting was on this. It passed with 1,019 votes for, 959 votes against, and we had around 500 players that didn't vote. So with it being that close, I really think it was that silent majority. Is we all know the NFL, most of the players aren't making that much money. The average player, I think, lasts in the league for 3 years. And so this is why a lot of the people chose to vote for it because it's helping out the smaller guy, you know?
Yeah. I think it was the only thing that was really shocking, I guess you could say, was just the amount of players that didn't vote. I thought 500
Yeah.
players was a little high, considering that only 2,500 something total got a vote. So that's really the only thing that surprised me. I thought that the CBA was going to pass just because I think that they're making enough money to where they'll bite the bullet for one game in order for it to benefit the better of everybody, but only if they really like that deal as a whole. And I didn't think that everybody liked that deal as a whole. So I personally didn't think the CBA was going to pass. But
I was surprised when I woke up to the news that it did pass. I was not expecting this.
Yeah, so it's good for the NFL. It gets them one step, well, actually it kind of completes the process really. There's really nothing else that's on the horizon that they have to worry about other than this coronavirus
This
stuff.
sets it through the decade. So this is a big deal that was taken
Right.
off kind of worries. So it's nice for the NFL to be able to move on to other problems, other possibly bigger problems.
Right. So 17 games from now on, boys. 17 games.
That's weird. It's going to take some getting used to for sure.
That starts in 2021, you said?
2021. Yep.
Right.
So
okay.
not
So we got
this
one
next
more
season,
of
but
regular.
one more season. Yep.
Wow.
Last
time
it's
that
gonna
got
be weird.
increased was quite a while, right? Right. The last time it would have been from the 14 game season to the 16 game season.
So what the 80s?
I can't remember when that happened. I was
So
definitely not born yet.
Oh, no, me neither.
90s babies.
I guarantee not even to be a fan by then. But I think it's crazy if this is going to change the landscape of the NFL a decent amount. And I'm really looking forward to see how this plays out.